Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to Predatory Exotics.
Today's video is going to be our updated reptile room tour. This is going to be for August. So the last one was a couple months ago, but a lot has changed in the room. We've got a lot of new species as well as some multiples of the other species we already kept, different morphs of such of those species. We've done some decorating in the room. And we're doing this last one before we do a lot of moving around in the room as well. We'll talk about it later in the video, but we're planning on doing some moves around in the reptile room, as well as we've got the added bit with the tortoise outside and indoor enclosure that we've built as well.
So we're going to get started with the reptile room tour.
So we're going to be starting off with this side of the racking. You'll immediately notice the difference from the last reptile room tour if you have watched that one. It's completely decorated, or it's partly decorated to how I want to finish it. No longer has it got the bright blue racking that it comes with if you order it offline. We've actually decorated it with this arid sort of setup. As I like most of the arid species, I went with this arid theme. Got this sort of sandstone paint and then decorated it with all the cacti and everything. So it sort of blends in nicely and it looks more fit into the habitats are on the shelving as well. You can see here I've basically velcroed all of these in. It covers up the lighting, but you can velcro it off and then sort of fix all your lighting and everything like that. Painted just a tiny bit of the shelf, and then this bit is actually a half round of gutter. Painted that colour, and that covers the corner as well. We just got to put a couple more of those corners on, and if you'll notice down here, halfway through doing the whole side panel, so that bit will come down here and it will cover that side, and that'll finish it off nicely. But as I say, they're all removable, which is awesome, so you can access all of your equipment as and when you need it. So if we start at the bottom like we did last time, this is our Stenodactylus stenodactylus. These are dwarf sand geckos. They're currently in a 45cm cube. They're a species of small gecko from northern Africa and the Middle East. Really pleased with them. Had them almost a year now. There's a few different sort of colour variations in here. If you look behind this slate, that one is our adult female. These tend to be like a lighter coloration. She's produced tons of eggs for us. They're really small geckos, but really beautiful. They're also called jeweled sand geckos because they look like jewels and they're so cool. If you look down there, is actually one of our males. He is a bright orange colour and he's producing bright orange babies for us. So a little bit later in the room tour, we'll go to the top of the racking and check out those baby geckos because they're super cool. But they have this awesome arid setup that I'm really enjoying. Obviously they can have straight sand because they're sand geckos, and they do prefer that as to any sort of other substrate. So as sort of the controversy with sand, these are perfect on it. So if we go up to the next level, these are actually called wedge-snouted skinks. In both of these tanks is the same. We have a breeding colony and you can actually see them sort of moving around. At the back there is one. They have this striped sort of pattern down them. There's another one coming up just in this food bowl. They're super cool skinks. They look like they would be snakes almost, or sort of worms, because they hardly have any legs. They have tiny little legs that they basically use, but they swim around through the substrate, which is awesome. So we have successfully bred these. We've got 8 babies from 2 different clutches. And they basically have a miniature setup of exactly what the adults have. It's hard to see these, they're not really a handleable species because they burrow through the substrate, and unless you take all of the substrate out, it's pretty much impossible to go and find them and pick them up. But it's awesome to see them in the evening eating all their mealworms that they have. So this shelving here is our snakes that we currently have. We have a sand boa in this top one. They're all on lignocell, which is a nice burrowing substrate, especially for stuff like sand boas that want to get into it. They prefer this a lot more, but we'll get out our sand boa. And again, these are from Africa, sort of anywhere from Egypt down to Kenya, because these are the Kenyan sand boas. And they have an awesome orange coloration with this brown colour. As you can see, they have the eyes on the top of the head for just sitting in the sand and poking it out. And also the scales are really cool. If you've ever held a Kenyan sand boa, you'll notice that it's got these smooth scales along the body, but the bottom has these keeled scales on the tail, which are super cool, and a nice different texture to what you would normally get on a snake. And as you can see, they like to burrow, they try and burrow in your arm. But she's got a little bit more growing. She's about 2-3 years old, so she might put on another foot, and hopefully we'll breed her in the future, because we do have a male now that you'll find out. Hasn't been shown on the channel, we've literally just got it today, and we'll show you that as the last one on the top of this racket. If you quickly have a look, you'll see what they do. They just literally bury, and she'll disappear into the substrate and then poke her head up and wait for her next meal. So one more along, saw this a couple weeks ago. This is actually a variable king snake, also known as the Nuevo Leon king snake, because they're from that area in Mexico. This one's a little young. It does tend to musk, so you do have to be careful. Just sort of getting it used to handling, because it's not the best at the moment. Trying to keep it nice and calm. Luckily it didn't musk then. Getting it used to handling, trying to handle it almost every day, just to try and get it used to it, because that musk does stink. But these are called variable king snakes because they have such variable patternation and colour. This one, it has got this grey background with almost a greenish hue to it. I don't know if it picks it up on the camera. And then it has these orange dots. These orange dots can be complete orange bands in some of specimens. And then that coloration can also be like a yellowish coloration as well. And then it's got that checkered orange and black belly, which is awesome. These are smaller species of king snake. They'll get about 3-3.5 foot. So obviously it's got a lot of growing to do. We'll upgrade the setup as it grows. But a really beautiful snake, and it's just trying to get it to handle a little better. But as you can see, it's taming down quite nicely already. And then one we haven't shown on the channel at all, got it last week, is a new hognose, a western hognose snake. This is a male one. I didn't say the Kenyan sambo we've got, the big one, is a female. The king snake here is another female. And then we've got this hognose, which is a little male hognose. It's just under here. So this is our male hognose. It's about a year old, and it's already sort of got this pinkish coloration, but it's actually het for pastel pink, which is a type of high pink albino. Super awesome. Been looking to get into hognoses for a while and looking to get into sort of the different morphs available. And pink pastel is one that me and Ollie both really like. And hopefully we can find a female that's got albino or some pink pastel in her, and then hopefully breed them together and produce some awesome babies from these. But this one, obviously it's a little male, so males can get up to 2 feet in length. So this will double in size. It's about 12 inches at the moment, but really calm. Unlike some of the hognoses that like to hiss and bluff a bit, this one's super docile, super calm, and awesome snake. Again, got that orange and black checkered belly, just like the king snake. Super awesome, and such a little beauty. And then we've just, obviously we usually put all our Arcadia lights and everything in. With the snakes you don't need that UVB lighting, so we've actually just put some sort of strip lighting that has a tiny little remote, and that way we can turn it on and off. You can change colour if you want, but obviously we just keep it on the white. And as I put it in, Ollie will be able to show you, it's got an awesome pink coloration, awesome reddy pinkish colour, especially under this lighting. Looks even better than it usually does. So happy we got this. I'm really pleased with this pickup, and another great snake species we've added to our collection. So if we look on the top, we'll see if any are out. These are our baby dwarf sand geckos. We've currently got 6 babies in here. These are ones we produced ourselves from the ones at the bottom. There's a couple orange ones that we've got. If you check us out on Instagram, you can see a picture of all the different babies that we've got. A couple orange ones are from that orange male, and then the rest of the 4 haven't developed any orange coloration, but they may well do in the future. So we've basically just got a mini setup of what they have at the bottom. It's working perfectly with that excavator clay setup at the back. They seem to love to dig their own little holes in it and everything, and a perfect little mini setup for them. Then on here, this is the one we picked up literally just today. The reason we've put it in this rub like here, you can see behind me we've actually got some boxes. We're going to be setting up our own snake rack system. That's what we're putting this reptile room for. That's why we're doing this reptile room tour. Basically, we're doing the last one before we move everything around, and then in the next one it's going to look completely different. We're going to have a whole snake rack with our hognoses, sound boas, maybe a few different other things, but that is the reason why they're in the rubs. So basically this one is another Kenyan sambo. This one's a male. If I didn't mention earlier, our female is het for snow, so that's the albino and aneutheristic, so the black and white as well as the albino. That makes the snow. This one is actually an amelanistic, possibly 66% het for the aneutheristic. So once we get this up to size, we'll breed it to our female, and hopefully we can get some albinos or possibly even some snows. Might be a long shot, but hopefully it pays off, because this one is really beautiful. Just a case of finding it, because they do obviously like to bury. So you can see it's quite small at the moment. It's around 6 to 7 months old, so obviously it'll have to be a couple years old before we breed it. But all where this sort of greyish colour is, that's where that dark brown would be, like it is on our female, but they keep all that orange, which is really awesome. Obviously if it did have the aneutheristic, that takes away any red pigment, so obviously orange comes under that red pigment, and then that's how you get the all white snow sound boa. But a really awesome little male that hopefully we can breed to our female in the future, and super pleased. Only just got this today, and it's so awesome. Can't wait to see if this actually can produce some snows. If not, just producing our own little albino amelanistic sound boas is going to be awesome. So that concludes all of my arid species that I keep on this racking system. So now I'll flip over the camera and Ollie can talk to you all about his rainforest setup.
Alright guys, so now back over to my side. There's been a few changes here on this side of the tank as well. As you can see, there is a tank missing now. There is a tank missing because the Pac-Man frogs, I'm going to start with those because they're our newest project that we've been working on, have moved into a triple enclosure, which is here. I'm going to sit on this over here because one of them is out, which is our original lime green Pac-Man, as you can see right there. So that is our original lime green, and then we've got 2 other ones. So I'm going to have to dig through just to try and find these ones, because they are kind of new here, and our original one was like this as well. They just tend to bury themselves for the first couple of weeks, and then they started to venture out more. The issue is they are quite small, these ones that we've got. Well, this middle one is, the other one isn't. So I just need to find it. I know. There we go. So this is our strawberry Pac-Man frog, who is the smallest one out of all the Pac-Man frogs as of right now. And he is one of the new ones that we have picked up. So little guy, still not used to being handled quite like our other one. Our other one's fine. But these 2 are still getting used to us. So we'll move over to the left side now, who I should be able to find a little bit easier, and you'll see why in just a second. Oh, he's in the water bowl. That would be why I can't find him. So let me just scoop him out. There is our albino Pac-Man. That would be why I couldn't find him in the substrate. This is our albino Pac-Man. So this is the third and final one in the trio of Pac-Man frogs. And definitely some cool ones. I can't wait until they grow up and they start to show all of their actual colors fully. And I know that the dirt doesn't help. We can also throw up some pictures on screen of when they're not super dirty. But yeah, this is our new triple Pac-Man frog enclosure, which we are really happy with. And I think it looks really cool as well. This was our recent project that we worked on. And just drop some dirt on the floor. I will hoover that up in a bit. What we're going to do next is start from the bottom. The Pac-Man frogs are one of the two new things on this shelving. There isn't a lot of new stuff, but we'll move. Actually, we're going to start up at the top because one of them is out and ready to greet us. This is Pip, our original crested gecko. As you can see, has some amazing colors. Obviously, it's a Harlequin crested gecko for any of you cresty lovers out there. You will know that this is a crested gecko Harlequin, which we are hopefully looking to breed soon in the near future, because he is becoming of age, and we finally did sex it as a male, based on the giant testicles that he has now grown. And then we'll move over to our left-hand enclosure now. This is also a new one for us here at Predatory Exotics, and it is, I'm gonna have to try and find where they are. This is Hugo, another adult male crested gecko. We believe Hugo is a bicolor. A lot better at handling than Pip is, obviously. And of course he wants to go back to sleep. But that's Hugo, another adult male crested gecko, who we will also be looking into breeding. Basically, we're going to have 2 males, 2 females, and hopefully get some cool babies out of it. So Hugo lives alongside Pip with a fully blacked out divider to make sure that they don't fight or anything along that sense. And that's our top shelf, which is our 2 crested geckos, and then our females will be going in this empty one up here. So Hugo is our next new addition to this racking. The rest you guys have seen, but we're going to move on head down to, of course, the one which is here. My probably least favorited species here at Predatory Exotics, and that is our tailless whip scorpion. So this is our Mexicanus whip scorpion. It won't get much bigger than this. This is basically its normal size, but it is very flighty, so I'm not going to go ahead and hold it. As they might look intimidating, they are actually very skittish animals. But they are one of my personal favourites. And I'll go ahead and pop these bits back in. And so that is our whip scorpion. Moving down, which we of course we are keeping in a 30-30-45, which will basically keep it for its whole life. Very cool species, especially if you guys are in the invert keeping and you wanted something new and interesting. These guys I find are really cool, but they're not the most liked when people come around and have a look at our collection. Moving on down to the bottom, you can already see his head poking out. This is our snow corn snake, who is still a little bit flighty, but getting better at handling. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get him out now. And once he's out, he's fine. But as you can see, he tends to calm down a lot. But this is our youth snow corn snake, who is an absolutely awesome colour, and I can't wait until he grows up. We believe it is a he. I can't wait until he grows up and he is full size at this cut with this colour. I think he will look very cool. I'm going to go ahead and put him back because we do only do short handling sessions, and he's already been out quite a bit today. Come on, bud, you can go back in. And I take away that hide to pop that back there. And that is our snow corn snake, who is a very cool colour, like I said before, and I can't wait until he is pretty big and definitely a lot bigger, which will take us over to this side. This side has one new addition, which we're actually going to start with because you guys have seen him on the channel. You saw us redo his tank. This one is one that we got off of a friend that no longer wanted to keep a snake, which is perfectly fine, and I'm glad that we could rehouse him for them. So lift up his hide here. This is Sid. Sid is our adult male corn snake, who is an absolute sweetheart. A lot of people might get intimidated. Oh, you're going to pull down the log, are you? Might get intimidated by the size of Sid, but Sid is an absolute sweetie, and as you can tell, is massive. This is our biggest snake we have here at Predatory Exotics, and he comes, I'd say, probably almost getting to that 5 foot mark, fully laid out. He won't get any bigger than this. This will be him at fully grown, and he's about 5 years old. We probably won't look into breeding corn snakes just because of the size, but they are definitely a cool addition, and we love having them here at Predatory Exotics as well. You can go ahead on back in. He is fine with handling. He doesn't really enjoy it. You can kind of tell he squirms quite a bit, but like with most reptiles, it just takes time. So he's going to go over to his hot hide, and if you guys want to see us actually rehousing Sid here at Predatory Exotics, that video is on our channel as well, so don't forget to head over and check that out as well. Moving on down from Sid's enclosure, whilst I lock it up with this lock here, is one of our OGs here at Predatory Exotics, one of the original ones we've got, and that is Loki the bearded dragon, who by the looks of it is about to shed his mouth. So I'm expecting him to shed quite soon. He hasn't shed for a little while, but he's been doing really well recently, and we are hopefully going to be upgrading him to a bigger tank soon, along with hopefully getting a female for him to breed with. This is Loki. He is a hypo-citrus bearded dragon, and he is just a little, he's about 1.5 years right now, so he's not too far off that 2-year mark, but he is an absolute treat. Also really good with handling. Give you a bit of a closer up, and here he thinks I've got some food for him as he starts to follow my fingers, hoping that there are some worms on the end of it. Sadly not Loki right now. Right now we're just showing you off to the people. So we'll go ahead and close up Loki as well. I don't really want to disturb him right now because it is coming to the evening here at Predatory Exotics, and he is actually one of the only ones in this whole room that isn't nocturnal, so he will be going to bed soon, and that's basically where he'll sleep for the night. Moving up to the top shelf, we've got 3 mantises here. One who has actually just recently molted. I'm going to give a bit of torchlight to help the camera see. He is at the back right now. This is our ghost mantis, who has just recently molted and has got that awesome, like, kind of dark red burgundy colour, and looks amazing. We didn't know if this one was going to do too well based off of not eating for a good few weeks, but it molted quite recently. I think it was only about a week and a half ago that it molted, and it has gone so much bigger. And then speaking of bigger, the one that sadly isn't going to be with us too much longer, for any of you that know the lifespan of a mantis, this is our Congo green. This is a female Congo green because she has recently laid her egg sac, which is on the top of the enclosure. And this, for any mantis keepers, you will know that she only has a few weeks to a couple months left to live. Which is sad, but mantises do only live for about a year and a half at most, but we've had some great experiences and learning about mantises as well, and watching them grow on the channel. You can go ahead and watch our original videos when these guys were about this big, and now look at them here. Moving on, we have our devil flower mantis, probably the coolest mantis species in my opinion that I've kept so far. They are such a unique species in comparison to every other mantis that we've kept. And you can watch a full care guide to see why they differ. You can probably see it in the background. It has a heat lamp. These are basking mantises, which for an invert is very strange. But this is our top of Loki, which has got 3 mantises on it. So I hope you have enjoyed my side of the reptile racking. We've got some little extra bonus clips coming up, and I'm going to pass you over to Tom for that.
So if you have been keeping up to date with our channel recently, we undertook a big building DIY project, and that was actually for our Norris Art Greek tortoise. This is how it's turned out. You'll have to excuse the cardboard box at the back. The last thing I've got to do before finishing the project completely is making a whole hide box at the bottom. That will have all hay and stuff, so you can go to sleep in there. But he's rarely in here at the moment because he's outdoors during the summer. But we undertook this project a few weeks ago, a month ago or whatever, and it took us a while to build it. But kitted it all out to make it sort of this arid vibe, put all the desert hills, desert plants in there, all the succulents, to make it look as naturalistic as possible, sort of try and recreate the environment but still keep it simple for him, so it's easy to clean, easy to keep sterile. So we put the beach chips in there, which actually go well with the whole colour scheme. Really pleased how it turned out for our first actually DIY enclosure. Obviously it's got to have some more improvements, some more enrichment items we're going to put in it. But it's doing awesome. He's got his light on his shelf and everything that he needs. You'll see him in a minute outdoors in his outdoor enclosure, but I may as well talk about these we have on top. So there's actually a African twig mantis that we have. I can turn on. It's a little bright, but this is an African twig mantis. They literally look exactly like a twig. That's how they survive in the wild. They blend in with the dry shrubs. So the African twig mantis is actually from places like Somalia on the east coast of Africa. They're designed to look exactly like a dried twig. That's why our setup has all the dry twigs, dry leaves, to replicate their natural habitat over in the dry shrub arid areas of East Africa. And then to the side we've got these two that we're raising up. These are Asian forest scorpions that we have. We've had them a few months now. They've molted a couple times each, which is awesome, but they're doing pretty good. They probably almost doubled in size to what they originally were, but love these little scorpions. Can't wait till they get nice and big, but they're doing awesome in these little tubs, and eventually we'll upgrade them into bigger ones and bigger ones, and then maybe put them in something like our Exoterra Habisphere, like we did our adult that unfortunately passed away a few months ago. But these are awesome, and as they get bigger and bigger, they're going to get more and more awesome. So let's head out now and check out Norris outside. It's getting dark, so he's probably going to be a little bit sleepy. But we can show you off his outdoor enclosure and show him. Luckily, if he's sleepy, he's probably not biting people. So this is our Greek tortoise Norris. He's over 20 years old now. He's my first ever reptile that I got. Luckily it's getting dark out here, so he's a little bit sleepy, but he's usually super aggressive. He is a male tortoise, and he tends to always be headbutting everything he can. They don't like to be picked up that much, that's why he's flailing about. So I'll put him out in his outdoor bit and talk you through his enclosure. He has a run that he goes in overnight, and that's got hay and everything in there, and a weatherproof cover, so even if it rains he has somewhere dry to go. He's also got another hide box to the side. That is basically because he will headbutt this whole hide along and then he can escape. Obviously we don't want him to escape, that's why we've got these plants and the barrier up, which means he has all this area to roam. He can go on this sort of concrete. That means his nails get worn down, we don't have to trim his nails and stuff like that, and he has all this astroturf as well. But he's an awesome little tortoise, even if he's a little bit aggressive. See if he'll do a tiny little bum wiggle for me. Almost, but he's a little bit tired. Super awesome tortoise, eats like a champ. That is why we're growing our own tomatoes in the garden. They're coming along nicely, so we can have tomatoes as a treat. Obviously tomatoes are a fruit. He mostly eats his veggies, and he loves them. He loves eating lettuce, cucumber, all sorts, all his greens. and he loves it outdoors at the moment, especially during the British summer.
So guys, we hope you have enjoyed this reptile room tour. We're just going to give you guys a bit of an update, but before we actually give an update on what we're planning, we wanted to just give you guys a massive thank you for all the support, especially like over the past couple months. Our numbers are skyrocketing, which is great to see. I think we're a little over 620 subscribers right now, so we're going to keep pushing and hopefully we'll be that 1K mark soon.
Yeah, it's awesome to know that on Instagram and on YouTube and everything, your comments where you say we're doing really good videos, you're enjoying the new species we're getting. It's awesome support and it makes us want to do it even more. So we're happy to do it. We love showing our journey because obviously we're building this whole reptile room from scratch. Going on that journey, hopefully we've done some breeding, but we want to get into more projects. So everything that's happened, everything that's going to happen is so awesome, and I'm glad that you can be part of it.
So with that out the way, we did want to give you guys a massive thank you. We're now going to talk to you guys about what our plans are, because between this reptile room tour and the next reptile room tour, there's going to be some drastic changes in the layout and kind of what we're planning to do, what we're planning to get. So I'm going to move over to Tom, and he's going to start you off with what our plans are for down here.
So basically what we've gone out and got today, we went and started to get the stuff for our snake racking, because a lot of snakes actually do better in a rack system as opposed to the big glass terrariums. So something like our hognoses and our samboas and a few of the other smaller species are going to be going to snake racks. So that's going to go where all our wooden vivs are and stuff like that. So obviously they're going to be moving upstairs. So there's a lot of rejigging about, as well as some awesome new animals we're gonna get. We're gonna get cool morphs of our samboas, hognoses, and some king snakes, stuff like that. Haven't decided exactly what we're gonna get yet, but it's gonna be looking along the lines of getting some breeding projects started, which can be super awesome. And I'll let you tell Ollie about his breeding plans as well.
Alright, so like he said, of course the wooden vivs, the 4-foot massive ones, are going to be moving upstairs. They're going to be moving into my bedroom next to my bed currently, and basically the plan is to have 4 of them stacked on top of each other, with basically we've ordered a couple more larger ones, which are going to be able to make more room. They're going to house our current bearded dragon Loki, and hopefully a new one soon, a female bearded dragon as well, which we're going to be breeding to Loki. Then on top of that will of course be Sid. He is our newest, biggest snake. Of course he needs that 4-foot viv, so he is going to be joining the bearded dragons upstairs. And then on top of Sid, a new tank that I actually went and picked up today, which is really nice, and it's going to match all of our tanks as well. Is going to be for our baby bearded dragons. When we actually eventually breed and hopefully successfully breed our bearded dragons, they're going to be housed in there, because of course until they're about a year old you can house them all together, and it's another whole 4-foot viv, so it'll have plenty of space for all of them.
Yeah, so that's what we're trying to do really. We're trying to plan for the future. Obviously we don't want to fill up our entire room with animals, because then we've got no space for all the babies that we're going to have from these hopeful breeding projects. So when we get the snake racking, we'll fill up a lot of it, but we've got to make sure we've got room for our baby snakes, as well as, like Ollie said, he's going to leave that empty tank upstairs, so we can have those baby bearded dragons hopefully.
So we also wanted to end this video with a bit of an announcement. We're wanting to do another giveaway for you guys. I don't know if you guys knew, we did one at about 250 subscribers, and now we're crazy looking back at that. It was only a few months ago, it wasn't that long ago. We're wanting to do a giveaway at 1K. So we're going to be announcing the whole giveaway at about 950, which gives you plenty of time to enter between that 50 and then 1,000. Give you plenty of time to enter, but all of those details will come out when we're at around 950 subscribers, and then the actual giveaway will be announced when we hit 1K.
So if you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it. Comment down below, what is your favourite animal we currently have in the reptile room, and what would you like to see added as well.
So without further ado, we hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe to here. Don't forget to subscribe to us here at YouTube, and don't forget to go and check us out on Instagram as well. Don't forget to leave those comments, keep liking our videos, because it really shows support and it shows that we are actually making good videos for you guys, and you guys are enjoying them and a part of our reptile journey as well. So we hope you guys have enjoyed, and without further ado, we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys. Hey, what is up, guys? For any of you wondering why our red-eyed tree frogs weren't in this video, it's because sadly they didn't make it. They did pass away about a week or so into keeping them. We thought it was a bit strange, you know, all the temperatures were correct, they were eating, you know, the lighting was correct. We just couldn't really understand why. So we gave the shop that we called a phone call just to check, like, maybe it was something we were doing wrong, but it turns out that a lot of the ones that they had there at the store were also dying off. So it might have been like a bad batch. I was having a chat with the owner of the store, and he said, yeah, a lot of them in the store are dying right now, and he wasn't quite sure why either. So sadly they didn't make it, but of course it did allow us to get Hugo into that tank instead, so we rearranged it. But for now it's kind of put us off keeping tree frogs for a little while. I know it wasn't anything we did or anything like that. It just we just didn't really want to go through that again, maybe at a later date. But yeah, it just kind of put us off. But we did want to let you guys know, because of course you're probably wondering why they weren't in this video. But that sadly is the reasoning. Sadly, stuff like this does happen when keeping reptiles, and any animal for that fact. So we didn't want to like not say anything about it, so I thought I'd just throw in this little clip at the end, and kind of tell you guys what happens. But now I'm just going to show you a little bonus clip of us actually getting Hugo home and putting him in the tank for the first time, because of course, you know, when one door closes another one opens. It was quite sad, but yeah, things like this happen. So enjoy us getting Hugo, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So guys, of course now we're swapping over to our new animal that we're putting in, like I just explained about the frogs and all of that. As you can see, we've reset up the tank. So it is all ready now, once the lighting decides to adjust itself. Of course it's quite bright with the LED bar on top there, but as you can see, it's all been reset up, all changed around, ready for a crested gecko, which is what we're going to be putting in there today. We have gone out and bought a new male crested gecko to house this tank. The reasoning we didn't go for red eyes again after that whole fiasco about what I just explained is because it's kind of put us off keeping red-eyed tree frogs until we find larger ones. I know it wasn't the shop's fault. It was, you know, it's a bad batch and breeding, like I explained. So we've got another crested gecko. His name is Hugo, to go alongside Pip, who is also another male. As you can see, Pip is out right now, just there. Who is of course our first male crested gecko. But now we've got another one, so I want to introduce you to Hugo, a much bigger male crested gecko, who is going to be going inside of this tank. So this right here is Hugo, a lot darker once fired up, but kind of a light greyish colour. Hey Hugo, welcome. So I'm going to go ahead and put Hugo into his new enclosure. Come on, buddy. Come on. There you go. So this is Hugo, an adult male crested gecko, as you can see, as you can probably see by the bulge, and he's going to be going into his new home. Do you want to go ahead and step on up, bud? You want to go ahead and step on up? Pick up here, maybe? Right, he's enjoying my hand. There you go. Yeah, you can go ahead and drink off some of those leaves.